Wen People Talk, Community Podcast. Wen People Talk, Community Podcast, yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Gold Boy on another When People Talk podcast episode, and today we're on with Sheila. Thank you for being on, Sheila. So I guess before we get into it, do you want to just give a quick description or introduction of yourself?
Hi, Goldie. I'm Sheila. I've worked with StormX for over 5 years now. I'm so happy to be part of a global company that helps people to earn. So it's been such a ride, especially with the COVID, but our company survived and it's really doing really well right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you've been with the company how long?
Going 6 years
That's
this
a
February.
That's that's definitely a long time. We look forward to the to the anniversary. Did you have any plans for your 6 years?
But it's funny because I started work. My anniversary actually also falls on my birthday. So every
Uh,
time I celebrate my birthday, I also celebrate the company anniversary.
Oh, that's so convenient. That's so why so how did that come about? Was it just a coincidence that you started on StormX on your birthday?
Yeah, it's a coincidence because I'm under an agency. So when I got hired, it was probably a week before I was absorbed by StormX. So it just happened to fall on my birthday, and I think all the stars just collided for me
Oh, that's
for it to
that's
happen.
it is. It is. The stars literally aligned. So that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. So, I
Yeah.
guess first question kicking off. Why did you choose StormX?
Oh, funny. But initially, I was just searching for a job. I I sent my application to the agency. So they're a manpower agency. So they just get you in, they get you interviewed and all that stuff, and then they just give you the match for. And then at that time, it was StarMex that was hiring. And at that time, I really had to find a work from home. So work from home during that time was not yet open, an idea for me, but I just tried. And then I thought because the old name of StormX was Cake Codes. So I thought it was an e-commerce, e-commerce selling cakes. So I love baking, so I said, "Oh, I'm gonna learn from this." So it's great. And then eventually, I felt, "Oh my God, I'm so lost because they're all engineers, they're all tech stuff, and I'm not." So yeah, that's how I started. So I just eventually I learned about the mission, and as I've told you before, I was just amazed of Simon's vision for the company and for the whole user base to help. So
Hmm.
that's what keeps me going.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
that's absolutely brilliant to hear. You sound absolutely driven, especially on that vision, which I'd agree is it's a pretty great one. I'd say that the whole team has been driving it pretty well so far. Um, but I'm sorry, I can't get this image out of my head of you walking into the office and expecting to see like bowls and cakes and ovens everywhere, and there's just a bunch of people sitting down on laptops.
No, I work from home. I
Oh.
work from home. So I thought it was just an e-commerce because I used to work for an e-commerce. So we sold, dog supplies and everything like that. And I it was just, for money,
Mm,
And then after that I was hired, and then I felt lost for about probably 6 months working, and I realized, and I was thinking to myself, is this really where God wants me to be? Well, all of the people are like, I think they were all male at that time. We were only six. We were only six, and we didn't. So I joined as a customer support, and it was really a startup, like literal startup. Like we didn't have a domain. We didn't even have like the platform for customer support. So we were doing
Wow.
it via Gmail. And could you imagine that? So every time there was an issue from a customer, I'd have to check his email address and or report it to Calvin, and then Calvin would have to like search by keyword because we didn't have ticket numbers like the regular customer service platforms that we have right now. So I've seen the company grow from that to how it is now, and it's really amazing because at that time, as I said, I think we were only six at that time. So we would take turns. So for example, it was my day off. It's gonna be Simon who's gonna be taking in tickets. Imagine my CEO. So at that time, I had I was able to really get in touch with my CEO, with Calvin and Simon. We really had that time to every time they want to ask me something, it was personal. So right now I think we're about 40 people
Mm.
or 40 to 50 people. So it's really, really big. And they're already busy. So busy actually. But I really appreciate that time when we were just starting because you'd see all the struggles that startups would have. But hey, it's 8 years. Company has been surviving for 8 years, and it's really a good thing. And gosh, we've already helped so many people. Like unlike the traditional business where you just go ask people money, it's different. It's like 360 degrees different because here we're operating, but we're the ones making people earn.
Mm.
So it's amazing how Simon like positioned the company for that. Like we are the one helping. So every time every time I feel lost, like for example, if we'd have sync with the engineers and they're all techie and stuff, like I don't even understand what terms they're using, but I just hang on to that mission. Like you know there's really something then, and there's really a big potential for this company because from the very start the mission has been clear, and the mission has been honest to goodness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a mission that more and more people are having their eyes on every day. I mean, you said it yourself. The company has come a long way from a small startup. Of you said your ticket system was just emails. I mean, if you get a lot of high volume requests in, that's got to be nuts to take care of.
Yeah. And that's how we did it. And so it was just Gmail. And if I had escalations to Calvin or something that, I couldn't handle on my own, so I'd have to put it on an Excel sheet and then he'd have to open from the email address, he'd have to do a manual search. So it was so hard. But then eventually we added features, we built our website, and then we added engineers, and then we already have so many earning features. And we were partnering with I think over 1,000 stores, very big stores like
Mm.
AliExpress, all the great stores that you could even think of. And
Mm.
it's offered in 187 countries.
Mm.
See, imagine that. So I'm still gonna be able to, share the app or wherever I am in the world. See,
Mm.
Europe. So it doesn't really have to be, just US. No. So it's spread out. So it's really global, and that that the feeling of being part of a company that's globally helping people. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, it's really you're really smashing the definition of worldwide there. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I guess one question I wanted to ask was you mentioned back in the startup years where you had to resolve tickets through Gmail. You mentioned sometimes on your days off on your holidays. that Simon or Calvin would had to take over. How did I? You're already laughing. How did that go? Like, how did they? You as the because you are the customer service expert on the team, as a lot of people see. So, how would you have rated their performance solving tickets?
Yeah, because we had no choice because we were only six, and
Yeah,
everybody was assigned to some things. But of course, I had to also take my leave, take my day off.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Simon has no choice. So sometimes there would be so many tickets, and he'd tell me, "Oh, we need to work. You need to extend your hours because we need to finish." But I didn't. From the very start, I've always loved this work. So I think I even think I'm overdoing it at times because when the moment I wake up, I just think of my kids and my dog and my work. So it's become a part of me.
Oh no, no, no! That's honestly, that's I absolutely respect that. That everyone was, because as you say, you're absolutely right. You're the only person working customer service at the time, and it's a lot of work. But as you say, you are only human. You do need days off as well. And other
Yeah.
members of the team stepped up to take on the work. You were really working as a team there, and that was great to see. But I don't know. I think I just find it a bit funny because if I worked for the company and I was, put in that scenario, to go from one side of work to suddenly customer service, like it could be, it's a very different change of pace of environment, and I can imagine I'd get some
Yeah.
funny stories out of it, not intentionally,
And
but
then and then we're gonna be sharing notes. Like I'm gonna be sometimes I'd have to ask Simon to do customer service work or do ask him customer service questions. And he of course his background is different, so there was so much learning and unlearning for both of us. So even Calvin was part of it. So we'd be doing scripts together. I'd be writing for him and all that. And right now it's really a big breather because we now have our own marketing team. We have and we have ambassadors so helping us. So it's really you know helping each other and putting all the work together. So
hmm,
we also have different nationalities. So we have like most of our engineers are from India. So I think there are 12 of them, and one is from Brazil, and Martine is from London, right? So
are
and
you from the
then I think
Netherlands?
the rest, yeah, Netherlands. And I think the rest are like I think maybe five are from the US. So, and customer support is from the Philippines. I'm from the Philippines, by the way. So it's really mix of culture. So we all have our differences, but it's amazing when we do our sync. It's really really funny because that's when there's really respect, and everyone has assigned tasks and we all come together.
That sounds absolutely great. And do you find that do you find that you yourself have learned about other cultures while work? Because you've been with StormX for 6 years now, so you must have seen a lot of people enter the fold from all around the world. Do you guys normally share
Mhm.
different tips about your cultures then?
Yeah, so we actually have a random channel for our Slack. So that's our communication page. So we do share many things. Like we on Sundays we share photos of our how our weekends are. So it's you really see the difference in each and every one. Like Martin would share about how he likes to party, like the 3 day beer celebration he just had. I think I think that was this month when
Mm.
he got so drunk
Oh yeah,
like
Oktoberfest.
that. Yeah, and from our side of the world, there's always typhoon. So
Oh
so they
no.
have to. Yeah, so every time I think the Philippines gets hit by typhoon twice a year. So every time, yeah, and there's actually a big typhoon happening tomorrow in the Philippines.
Oh.
So yeah, so when that happens, like literally, like some of our staff before from the customer support, they lost their roof. Literally was not able to work. So everybody really just participates and they help. The
Mm,
company is always there for us. So
that's
even if they really don't, understand what's the real score of what's happening in the Philippines, but they're always there. They always offer help. They always make sure that our we are we are in our best environment. They send us help, like they send us our kids to fix our house
mm,
so that work we can go back to work as soon as we can and we can protect our families. So it's really been, mix of culture, but also it's learning every day.
mm. Well, I mean that's horrible to hear, but it is good to hear that the community is that willing to give support to one another within your area, and it means that you get to know the people around you more. It really does take a village. So, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
hopefully tomorrow passes with not much happening. But I guess to move on to the happier topics, I remember you said earlier you were a big fan of baking.
Yeah.
What kind of do you still keep on top of that? Do you still bake now and again?
Yeah. Because I used to run a bakery before. So right after
Oh,
I graduated, I ran a bakery and we did this chocolate crinkles. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's the one with powdered sugar. It's like a cookie, but it's chocolate and it will have cracks. That
oh,
one. So
they're lovely. They're
so
delicious.
so we would bake that, and for Christmas we'd have companies come for giveaways. So I've been busy with that for quite some time, but I had to when I had children, I had to take care of them and stay at home.
Ah,
Family first.
no, I respect that. I just thought that I thought I thought children were like a big fan of like baked goods and whatnot. I thought it would have
Wow,
worked you
yeah,
up a lot of
me
favor.
too.
So what was your bakery store called?
The bakery store was called House of Crinkles
House of Crink. Oh,
because yeah, because that was our specialty. So during holidays, I'd close the store because I'd be so so busy taking company orders. So I'd close the store and we're not gonna be selling breads anymore for probably a week because we're so busy with the giveaways. It's usually Christmas.
mm.
I'm still baking. I'm actually still baking every weekend. I
Oh,
still
okay.
bake it because I supply to um, coffee shops. I supply it to 4 coffee shops.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so that's my side income. And StormX has helped me build that, buy my equipments because when COVID, I actually stopped when I did StormX. So I was doing StormX full time, but then when COVID hit, nobody was, we were so afraid to eat because if I could share, COVID was so different here in the Philippines. Like if your kid gets COVID, he's gonna be taken
Oh,
from your house and brought to the hospital alone.
oh no.
So even if alone for 14 days, or no, not 14 days, 21 days, and a lot of children have died in the hospitals alone. And like if they die, the parents could not even visit them because they're gonna be cremated right away. So there's not gonna be you're not even allowed to visit. Okay, so I was so paranoid at that time because I was so afraid what happens if my kid gets taken. So I had to bake again because there was no food. We were on lockdown for I think 3 weeks, and there was literally no food.
Mm.
Nobody was selling food. Everything was closed. Every store was closed. So I had to bake again because they only allowed for the suppliers, they only allow the suppliers to deliver if you're gonna be ordering. So everything was delivery. So I still had my line. So I was able to order from my supplier and I was able to bake. So not only for my family, but to all of my relatives and friends because COVID was just so bad here in the Philippines. Really, really bad.
Oof.
Like my father-in-law actually died the peak of COVID. But
Oh, I'm
then
so
we
sorry.
he did not yeah, he did not actually die of COVID. He was 84. He did not die of COVID. He just died of, natural death, but we were not able to visit. So he was just frozen for a week because there were so many COVID patients at that time. So there was no
Mm.
funeral, there was nothing. So that was how hard it was. So I had to go back to baking because I was so afraid of the people. Like if I ordered food, I could order food, but what if the person preparing that food has sneezed on that while he was preparing my food? And what if because we also had issues with the deliveries, like we had Food Panda, but what if the person, you know, the rider,
Mm.
call it rider. What if the rider would have COVID? So it was just paranoia that led me back to baking. It's been very good
Yeah. I,
until now.
I think a lot. I don't think a lot of people would call it paranoia. I think it would be, it's sort of a very cautious move from you. And honestly, I think it speaks a lot to your character about how much you were able to, kind of pick things up even on over an absolutely tragic era that we came
Mm-hmm.
from, and you kept going. You provided for your family. You can you picked up a hobby and you used it to help yourself, your family, and your relatives. It really does speak a lot about the kind of person we have in this company. Honestly, I absolutely respect you a lot for that.
Filipinos are known to be resilient. Like even if we have typhoons, you'd see memes of people, rowing, rowing through the mud and the flood water and still happy. So yeah, so Filipinos are really, able to, even with the most tragic things happening, they're still able to rise up. And I think that's one thing that I'm so proud of. So
I think we can all definitely take some lessons away from that. I think that's an absolutely noble way to
mhm,
live. And speaking of
true.
lessons, there is one question that ambassadors ask in each of their interviews. And I guess my question to you would be a good lead off is, what life lesson do you try and take with you everywhere?
I've always lived by the golden rule. You always like in everything that I do, I always think, what if it's done to me? Would I be happy? So that's like I'm founded, or that's my foundation. So every time I'm tempted to do something wrong, every time I'm tempted to snap at someone, I always think, hey, I shouldn't do unto others what I don't want to be done unto me. So I think that if everyone just lives by that golden rule, then it's there's gonna be so much peace and harmony because people are always gonna be thinking of the other person rather than just themselves. But you see a you see a lot of viral videos right now where people just shout at the groceries or anywhere. I think they've lost their humanity somewhere.
Hmm.
That they're just, or maybe they're just so stressed with life. But I think if you always, like, every time you are put in a situation where you can go really bad, you just think, hey, am I doing this? Is this, if this was me, would I be happy? So even at work, if I have to relate it at work, I always give the best in what I do, even if it's just customer support, because we're just, of course, the bloodline of our business is really the IT stuff and all that. But even if it's just customer support, I always try to give more to what I do, because in the same way, if I know that if if I become like a CEO or a business owner, I would want my employee to give more, and just to not just work for the money, but also to know, really understand why we're here, why
Mm,
StormX is here, why we keep on operating, why we keep on adding offers. No, it's just because it really, when when you understand the mission, you actually appreciate everything. So it's not, sometimes like when we launch a product, it's gonna be so hectic. Like we'd have so many tickets, like we'd work sometimes 14 hours
mm,
every time we launch a product. Like when we launched cashback, we had to work like 12, 14 hours every day, because there was just so much demand for customer service. But we don't, in my end, I understand, because this is how we're gonna grow as a company, and this is how we're gonna be pushing our mission to everyone. So
mm,
I think one thing of not feeling so tired about work, because I think a lot of people would feel like, oh, this is just another 8 hours of day. I'm just gonna be. Could you imagine? Um, at the start of my work, I'm gonna be reading rants all throughout the day. So the moment I open my computer, it's just gonna be, hey, why didn't I get cashback? Hey, why isn't your app working? Why can't I log in? Blah blah blah. So it's just, it's all negativity. But
mm.
then, as a customer support, you always have to make it your mission to turn things around, like from one irate customer to a happy customer. So that's always my mission.
Mm. And honestly, I can.
So it's hard. It's really hard.
Mm,
It's not as easy as you think. Especially we have about 10 very irate customers. So they curse, they say bad things to
wow.
you, not just to the company, but to, like, personally attack you. But it's part of it. It's part of it. They're always good and bad in everything. So that's also how I see things. So it's just part of work. So we can't actually go further if we don't accept the good and the bad, because nothing in this life is only good, right? So nothing in this life is also
Mm,
only bad. So it's always a mix of good, bad. Sometimes all good, and then you get some bad. So, but you
mm.
move forward anyhow, right?
Yeah, and you do a good job of that. I can attest. You absolutely you take the tickets with grace. You swiftly get to the bottom of the problem and you solve it and you close off the tickets. But yeah, this is I mean this is an issue with customer service. Sometimes people don't realize that on the other side of that barrier you are talking to a person. So it's really you're not when you say these words, when you swear, when you're negative, when you do this unnecessary behavior, you are affecting another human, which is why I really like your golden rule of, think, put yourself in someone else's shoes. If you're going to do something, think what would happen if this happened to me. And you're right, if more people took
Mm-hmm.
this on, yeah, it'd be an absolutely better world, I'd say. Um, but I,
We make the world a better place.
yeah, no, absolutely,
And that's
absolutely. But how?
okay. So yeah,
Oh,
we make this world a better place by thinking of the other person. And it's also a thing that I've learned with, I think I've been doing customer support for 10 years
mm-hmm,
in total. So it's really different. Like when I wasn't working as a customer support person, I wouldn't understand the other person. I wouldn't understand, somebody who's frontlining. Like if I had, like, for example, if I had issues in my hotel room, and I just snap at the hotelier or the front desk and anything like that. But when you've had this background and all this training and how you have to position yourself to be very professional, so it's it's good work for the company, but it's also doing, in the long run, it's actually doing me a favor because I become a better person actually. Because you know how to deal when my kids are crying. I know how to deal with them, right?
Mm,
It's different when you just don't have the customer service experience. Really helped me a lot.
mm. No, I think that's a very big point to admit. That it's you get a better understanding of how to treat someone in a customer service job when you've sort of been there yourself. Because again, it's like until you kind of behind that, they may as well not even be human to you. It's like they may as well be a machine. Until you start thinking of them as a person, you do start treating them better. But
Yeah, that is true.
mm, but yeah, I mean, how would you say your previous customer service jobs have compared to StormX? Because StormX, I guess, is a completely sort of different field, being a cryptocurrency cashback as opposed to say,
Mhm.
an e-commerce or just like a regular store. Like, have you noticed any differences?
But there's the only, I think the major difference is I'm I'm helping other people with what I'm doing with the company that I'm in. So, like in all other companies that I've worked for, we ask people money. Like I work with Western Union, so we we ask people to send money so we can earn. So it's actually them giving us money, or we upsell. We have to sell like cards or whatever. And it's the same thing with the e-commerce where we sell dog supplies. So the only difference is that with this company, I know that I'm like I'm putting hope on other people, not just for myself, because I'm earning, because I'm employed and
Mm,
all that. But here I have the opportunity to share it to others, like especially in a country like ours. So here in the Philippines, there are so many people who can't finish who can't finish studies, like even high school, because they're so poor like that. So even if we have public schools here, but then they don't even have money to go to the school.
mm,
So, and it's very very corrupt.
mm,
There's too much corruption here in the Philippines. So like there are free there should be free education, yes, but then people don't even have food to eat.
mm,
So you see, how can they even go to school if they don't even have, if they can't even pay for the ride going to their school. So a lot of people are actually stuck in there. So like in that age range where they're too young to be employed, too young to even get a job, or
mm.
be a working student, because it's not we're not allowed to work here if you're under 18. I'm not sure if with other countries, but we're not allowed here. So a lot of people, like probably 12 to 18, who are not really doing anything, they're just staying at home for many many years. So if only I could help, like even just one person every week. Hey, you can earn from this app. You don't need to graduate, or you can do this on the side while you're waiting for your opportunity. See, so
Mm.
it's really it's so overwhelming what the company can offer, really, especially to poor countries like ours.
That sounds really honest. That's a great way to stretch out StormX, especially in communities where, yeah, as you say, younger
Yeah.
people don't have the chance to earn their own money, and StormX does provide that. Would you ever see any sort of I guess charity event linking off from StormX happening in the future?
I think StormX already has their own charity, because
Oh,
receive um we receive charity asking for help every time, and they're forwarded to our sales and marketing team, so they handle it. But yeah, it would really be a nice opportunity to reach out to like India, to other poor countries like Philippines or Malaysia.
mm,
So because they're the I think the the bulk of the young generation that could actually benefit from this app is really really good,
Mm,
and they're actually very good. The young generation are very good, are very tech savvy,
mm,
so that they could very well perform. They could very well do the tasks. So yeah, I think the only downside here, if I'm speaking for the Philippines, is that the Philippines is not yet open to cryptocurrency. So they're just starting.
mm,
So there's not much. I think in my wallet here, they only offer like five cryptos, like ETH and BTC, the first two. So if if I receive SCMX, I'd have to swap it first. I'd
oh,
have to swap it first to BTC, because the wallets do not yet are not very open to supporting other cryptocurrencies as of now. But the good thing is they're actually right now, they're actually, more and more people are happy. But I think last like 2 years ago, there were even banks who would tell you that they could actually sequester your money if they know that you are engaged in crypto,
ooh,
or if they know that the money that you put in the bank is from crypto earnings or something like that, because crypto in the Philippines is still, they still think of it as a scam, or
mm,
as a Ponzi scheme or something where, yeah. But yeah, I think there are also so many factors that has led to that, because there's also so many scams with cryptos, right? Yeah. So I read one where they asked people money and they would tell them, like, we're gonna be investing in crypto and you're gonna be, doubling your money in a week.
mm,
So when the crypto was so high up, so many people invested, and then the organizers just ran away with their money.
mm.
So it it added to the bad image. But in reality, if you just handle crypto in, the legitimate way, there's really so much to explore, so much to grow with that, whatever you put in.
Mm. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's also this thing of, because it's such an early field, it's very easy to pick apart the bad and keep it away from the good. But yeah, no, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. So much more good has been done with crypto. A lot of charitable donations have been made with it as well, and it's very easy to do that from across the world. I know growing up, sending money across different countries was, there were big barriers to it. There were massive fees, but cryptocurrency kind of, jumps over a lot of that and solves a lot of problems there. And it's interesting to see. I mean, bad things have been done with crypto, but that's bad actors. Whatever you have in place, it's happened with fiat. It still happens with fiat. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it is interesting to see it grow as a field. But I mean, I guess on the topic of charity, I realize we're sort of sliding to the end of this, but I wanted to ask, did you have any favorite, I guess, charities in mind, or any charities that would sort of dear to you? Because you seem like someone who gives a lot, whether it be to sort of, local community members, family, and you seem really into the charity side of StormX.
Yeah, as I've said, there are so many people here in the Philippines who are not afforded even the basic necessities. Even so many people die because the parents could no longer afford their food, because even the parents are uneducated. What happened when the COVID hit? Everybody was, everybody was, or like all the schools had to transition to homeschool. So for the public schools, they had to help their children. So the issue there was the parents weren't even educated. How could they teach their grade 6 student if they did not even finish grade 1?
Mm,
See? So there's so many factors to that. So like if I would have if I were to choose any charity, I would really want to help the kids, because they can't move. They can't move without the opportunity. And sometimes the line between success and failure is just very slim. Like one single opportunity could change the life of someone. Like from a totally non like non profitable person, or a person who's not earning or helping in the community. If you just open your eyes and just provide that person with the opportunity, then it could change the life of the
Mm,
community, because he's gonna be able to send his kids to school. He's gonna be able to work, and he's gonna be changing his whole mindset about life,
mm,
right? Sometimes it's
definitely.
just opportunity that's lacking.
Mm. No, I don't. Honestly, I'd absolutely agree on that. And it's good that your lines are sort of lined up with charitable causes that would help young people to do that. Because as you say, all sometimes that young people need is just a chance, an opportunity to grab for these things. That they're only basically just starting life off, so they'll sort of need help in that, and that's absolutely noble to see. So I mean, I guess my final question is, well, I guess one, where would you personally like to see you like obviously you're very invested in StormX a lot, but is there anything personally for you? Is there anything for you that is there any way you would like to see StormX go? Like what sort of improvements? And I guess as an add-on question, is there anything that you'd like to say to, I guess, the users of StormX, like a final message?
Okay, so I think that it would be nice to see StormX grow to be really used, because I know there are lots of downloads, but it there's still so much in StormX that's not yet being fully utilized, especially by the youth. So if only the youth are given the opportunity to really, like, to really market product to schools, and to even to the very young generation, because there's so much hope in them, and especially with technology right now. So yeah, I'd really want, like, a promotional, like, we'd have country, we'd promote StormX to different countries, and would be able to help. And then we could also leverage from there, from our user base. And then, of course, I want to grow with the company. I'd want to be able to, you know, see many, because we're adding features. Like, I think end of the year, I'm not so sure, end of the year or first quarter of next year, I think we're going to be adding debit cards. So I really hope we'd be able to offer more work opportunities for customer support, because as far as I know, they're happy with Filipinos working for customer support, because Filipinos are really emotional. So it's easier for us to empathize. So yeah, I of course I want the team to grow, not just the company, but also for the customer support team,
Mm,
because there's so much work. There's so much work, and there's still so many things to improve on, like our response time, because right now there's only five of us,
mm,
and we're yeah, five of us, and it's 187 countries. So you see, there's also language gap, because
mm,
we'd be receiving tickets in Chinese, and we'd have to translate that. Of course, it's gonna be so difficult. I'd have to translate the receipt from Chinese to English, and it takes a lot of time. So we don't have automations, like we don't have bots to analyze receipts and all that. So everything has to be manuals, and a lot of users do not understand that. They get mad. Why is it taking like 3 days for you to investigate a case? Because of course we have to look into it. Of course we don't. There. Imagine partnering with 1,500 stores, and they all have different receipts. Yeah.
oh, I know it
So
sounds
yeah.
nuts.
But I tell you, StormX is gonna go somewhere, and it's gonna be is gonna be really big
Mm,
if only people, open their minds and you really use it. And I'm looking forward to our company growth because Simon said that in the future he's been telling us about it that he's gonna be opening like a Fiverr or like a Manpower or where people can take micro tasks. Like for example, if I am free for a week, I could I could open the StormX app and I can see opportunities for a week that I could do in exchange for crypto. So that's something that we do not have yet, but
mm,
you know, I'm just I'm just hoping we can do that because that's gonna be helping even more people.
mm.
You know,
That does sound
it's all
really
for the good.
interesting, actually. Yeah, I think people would be interested to see what comes of that when more comes out about that. It sounds like a great way to add opportunities to earn even more crypto.
Hmm.
But yeah, well, I mean, hopefully, the workload doesn't, because it sounds nuts having just five of you deal with all these requests around the world, and especially with the debit card coming out, it feels like there's gonna be more. I'm hoping, are you guys getting in more support on that, like hiring more people, or
Yeah,
yeah, that's good.
because definitely hiring more people because when crypto is already like in the sense it's already money, but when you really talk about money like credit card, the banking stuff, it's really more on the emotional side because you never really realize how much value a person has on that money. Like for example, in my previous experience, I told you I worked for Western Union, right?
Hmm.
So every time we receive tickets, it's always automatic that we have to respond to that. So they actually hire so many people because because it's money and you can't let a person wait too long for because it's money.
Hmm.
And people are gets frustrated immediately if it's money because you don't know, it might be emergency money, they might need this for their son's medication, etc. So if it's money, you can't delay.
Hmm.
So so with the debit card, uh yeah, I think we're going to be adding so many people because as I said, we can't delay responses for money matters.
Hmm. Well, hopefully that hopefully that all goes well, and yeah, we look forward to seeing the customer service team grow, and yeah, see more. But yeah, no, please, Sheila, this has been an absolutely great interview, and please keep doing what you're doing. It sounds like you've got your absolute heart and everything, and that's absolutely great to see. Is the kind of people we want to see behind StormX. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing a bit about yourself with us today.
Thank you too. You're welcome, Hack. So yeah, I also want to thank you for helping us. We
Thank.
only have a few ambassadors, and it's been a struggle for us actually to market because we're just a small company, and marketing and advertising costs a lot, especially if they have to hire from the United States. So yeah, ambassadors are really community based, and their engagement, people engagement is really key to a business like this.
Mm.
So having ambassadors, I hope we have ambassadors in each country.
That would be great to see. It'd be great to have people, but I think our community is very well worldwide. Anyway, we have people from each different countries, and they always coming to offer themselves. But yeah, I do have to give thanks to Vice and SP Pay My Bills as well. They're absolutely great. They're always coming with brilliant ideas, and they're always helping out wherever they can. And I think the only reason we're having this podcast is because of their great ideas to come up with this. So I really have to thank them.
Yeah, I thank all of you
Oh,
and Martine too, because
mm.
Martine is really a people person.
Oh yeah,
So he likes engagements. He likes all these things, talking to people.
he has too much
And
energy in my opinion. I don't know how he does
yeah, me too. I just Martin, every time he comes in for work, he just changes the mood of everyone.
Oh,
Like randomly, he just sending a message to everyone about his beer, about about his kitchen. He just makes everyone happy. So it's something that not everybody would have that energy and have that public relation skills.
mm,
Martin is very good at that, and have to give it to him. And he's leading the team so well. So there's really no dull moment with Martin, even if we have a sync, even if we're having serious issues. He always has a way of making us realize. And then after we discuss serious things, we're back to the happy selves that we
Martine
have.
mode, I think is what we can call it. I do like the sound of that. He does bounce from one to another. I love him so much for it. He's absolutely oh, but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah, but yeah, thank you very much for this interview, and yeah, we look forward to seeing the good work that comes out of StormX.
Also looking forward. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.